hear me? That's good.
While you guys are getting settled in, please enjoy some of this mariachi music from Rogers Heritage High School.
I'm gonna zoom out, Michael.
Soy pura mexicana, nacida en este suelo, en esta hermosa tierra que es mi nación. Mi México querido, tienes mi bandera, si hago una mancilla le porto corazón. Viva México, viva América, mi sangre por ti daré yo. Viva México, viva América, mi sangre por ti daré yo. Soy pura mexicana, por
Siento que no me engañas, por eso te ando buscando. Vengo de tierras lejanas, no más por preguntando. Dieron razón que andabas por las tierras michoacanas, que de la Piedad viajabas al rumbo de la Huacana. Te vieron cuando pasabas por Zamora y Nueva Italia, caminos de Michoacán y pueblos que voy pasando. Si saben en dónde estás, ¿por qué me la están negando? Díganle que ando en Zaguayo, que voy a Ciudad de Hidalgo. Yo te seguiré buscando por estas tierras tan bellas, de pájaro y vías escalante, te vieron cuando pasabas por Nueva Italia. Ahora bajé a buscarte, Pascamaro y Pedernales, Paro y Villa Escalante, también Ario de Rosales. A ver si logro encontrarte para remediar mis males. Caminos de Michoacán y pueblos que voy pasando. Si saben en dónde estás, ¿por qué me la están negando? Díganle que ando en Zaguayo, que voy pa' Ciudad de Hidalgo.
I know, but just trust where it's at. Just trust where it's at. Okay. What's next?
Pasaste a mi lado con gran indiferencia, tus ojos ni siquiera voltearon hacia mí. Te vi sin que me vieras, tal vez sin que me oyeras, y toda mi amargura se ahogó dentro de mí. Me duele hasta la vida saber que me olvidaste, pensar que ni desprecios merezca yo de ti. Y sin embargo sigues unida a mi existencia. Y si vivo 100 años, 100 años pienso en ti. Pasaste a mi lado con gran indiferencia, tus ojos ni siquiera voltearon hacia mí. Te vi sin que me vieras, tal vez sin que me oyeras. Y toda mi amargura se ahogó dentro de mí. Me duele hasta la vida saber que me olvidaste, pensar que ni desprecios merezca yo de ti. Sin embargo sigues unida a mi existencia. Y si vivo 100 años, 100 años pienso en ti.
Oh gosh. How about one more round of applause for our musicians? Un aplauso, por favor. And hello, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today at the Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas's annual conference, Imagining the Future, Anything is Possible. We're glad you're here with us today. I'm Antoinette Grajeda, the senior reporter at the Arkansas Advocate.
And I'm Jorge Vega, an innovation manager at Tyson's Food. We are honored to serve as your MCs this afternoon.
It's already been a wonderful conference so far. The morning started with an education session led by a group of young professionals discussing how they've been imagining their future and pursuing educational opportunities. They dare to imagine and reimagine their educational expectations to achieve their goals. In another session, women talked about how they are putting their imagination into action to transform their lives and the lives of others around them.
There was also a great conversation in the LGBTQ session about how family is family and communities are communities. And as we all converse on how to move Arkansas out of the 50th place for the state's low voter turnout and how to get more minorities involved in the political process. Today, we would like to thank all of our panelists and moderators for taking time out of your busy days and busy schedules to share your thoughts and insights.
Yes, and a round of applause for you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you also, of course, to all of you, our guests, for being here. We appreciate you attending this annual event. This event, as well as the Cinco de Mayo Festival, they've raised funds for the Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas, particularly for scholarships. The Scholarship Fund has awarded close to 600 students scholarships in the last 2 decades, including Jorge.
And I'm very thankful. Since its founding in 1999, this nonprofit organization has engaged in activities to advance educational opportunities for Hispanic women and their families to celebrate and teach others about our cultures and on how to become active participants within the community.
Thank you again for being here today and supporting the Hispanic community and the Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas. Now I'd like to invite Springdale Mayor Doug Sprouse to the stage to say a few words to kick off our luncheon.
Well, hello, and thank you for allowing me just a couple of minutes, and I'll be very brief as I bring a welcome from the city of Springdale. But as always, Margarita, for the Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas, thank you for all you do for our communities, for our state, and for the residents of our communities. Scholarships have been mentioned, educational opportunities have been mentioned, and there's so much more that you all do as a conduit and as a resource for so many of our residents. And so thank you very much for all you do. Thank you for what it means to our community, and I hope you're having a great conference, and thank you again for allowing me a few minutes to bring a welcome.
When we talk about our region, we refer to it as Northwest Arkansas. So we would also like to invite Mayor Greg Hines to the stage.
It's a privilege to be here with you today. I think I may have missed last year, but I believe this is maybe my 13th year to attend. So I hear 1999 is the year that the organization was founded. So I grew up in Northwest Arkansas, proud to call it home, as is Mayor Sprouse from Springdale. We're fortunate. I think we're the only, well, maybe not, but I think we're the only two mayors in the major cities of Northwest Arkansas that were born and raised in our communities and have watched them change and progress through all these years. 1999, I think back, I was in my second year in elective office in 1999. In 98, I was elected as a 22-year-old member of the Rogers City Council, the youngest member ever elected. I graduated high school in 1994, so if that gives you some perspective, from 94 to 98, I went from detention in high school to sitting next to my assistant principal as a member of the Rogers City Council. I'll never forget my very first meeting. I'm sitting next to my principal. It's only been 4 years. I probably still owe him some detention. And he looked over at me and he said the same thing to me that night that he said my first day of high school, which is sit down, shut up, keep your hands to yourself, and I'll get us through this thing. That's been a long time. That's 25 years almost since that first council meeting. It's been my honor and privilege to serve as an elected member in the city of Rogers, but I also had a 12-year career in law enforcement during that same time before I became mayor. And through that career in law enforcement, it allowed me the opportunity to see every facet and corner of our community, to learn that there's so much more that brings us together and binds us together than there is that separates us. That all the problems that we face as community members are not bound by race or ethnicity or socioeconomic or education boundaries. All of our challenges are shared. And the more that we understand that, and the more that we understand that together, sharing the diversity of our cultures makes us better people. Makes us better neighbors, better friends, better parents, better spouses, better co-workers, and most importantly, better community members. You know, when Hoya started, it started as a voice screaming from the bottom of the pile to be heard, to bring out a marginalized group of people in our community, give them a chance, to break a glass ceiling, if you will. And what I've seen it evolve into since 1999 to today, what I think of is I think of Margarita and I think of the smile on her face that I see when I get to visit with her. And she wasn't smiling a lot back then. She was pointing that finger. But she's brought it a long ways. And we owe her a great debt of gratitude. No matter where we come from in this community. because of her work and her dedication, because of her pulling us along, and I look out here and most of this room is younger than I am. And she's brought generational gaps together to bring our community together, to make us stronger, safer, and more culturally diverse. And for that, we're better off. So my sincere thank you on behalf of the citizens of Rogers and the citizens of Northwest Arkansas. Thank you, Marguerite.
Thank you, Mayor Hines. Thank you, Mayor Hines and Mayor Sprouse. Your work as mayors really reflects the title of our conference today. Now, we would also like to take a moment to recognize some other dignitaries, if anyone happens to be here, state or local officials. I think I saw JP, Evelyn, Rio Stafford. Hello. Is there anybody else here today that I may have missed, please? Yes? Angela Russell, Mayor Tawnytown, so good to have you. Thank you both. Anybody else that I have missed or not seen? Round of applause for our elected officials.
And of course, we would like to thank any veterans who are here with us today. We all thank you for your service.
Yes. It's now time to present this year's Community Excellence Award. So I would like to welcome to the stage HWO Board Member Alan Lord, who will do the honors.
Thank you. The Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas's annual Community Excellence Award recognizes an individual or an agency in our community that, through their leadership, actions, work influence, and attitudes, has demonstrated excellence in the service, promoting advancement for everyone. Such actions and work must be inclusive and benefit not just one specific group, but the whole community and the state of Arkansas. Members of the team we honor this year offer guidance, education, and resources, and work closely with families, the education system, and local and state agencies to help teens stay or get back on track. For these delinquency and in need of services cases, some of the programs they operate are Teen Court, Washington County Outdoor Adventure Club, the Creating Lasting Family Connections Program, 885 Venturing Crew and the Crew Summer Program, Girls Circle, Electronic Monitoring Service, and online diversion programs. The team as a whole shares extensive knowledge of developmental psychology, juvenile justice, addiction responses, and social work to allow the individuals they serve to flourish in unsupervised environments, to help them integrate back into the educational system, and to become productive members of society. So the Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas is pleased to recognize the team of the Washington County Juvenile Court, 4th Judicial District, Division 3, with our Community Excellence Award. Please help me welcome the people who will accept the award on the behalf of the Washington County Juvenile Court. Erica Orellana, who's the probation officer, and Brittany Thornton, who's the lead FINS officer and community liaison.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this honor. On behalf of our Washington County Juvenile Court Division 3 team, I would like to say thank you to the Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas and, of course, Margarita. Our team has been attending this conference for many years. We always learn so much and really enjoy coming. At this time, I would like to ask that our staff please please stand briefly. These individuals work so very hard. It is such an honor and a privilege for us to get to work with the youth and families in this community. We love what we do. Y'all can have a seat if y'all want to. We have a diverse, dedicated staff that truly want the best for the youth in our community. They work tirelessly making referrals and providing guidance to families so they have access to the appropriate services, no matter their background or how they came through our doors. It is the most rewarding work. And of course, we could not do this without our amazing leader, Judge Stacy Zimmerman. She cares so deeply for the kids in this community. We will continue to work hard for this community, and we thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations to Erica and Brittany in the Washington County Juvenile Court 4th Judicial District Division 3 team. We're going to take a little break now for you to enjoy your lunch, but not before saying thank you to all of the cooks, servers, and volunteers who prepared this delicious meal. We all appreciate your work.
Yes, thank you guys. And while you guys are eating, you'll get to enjoy a little bit more music, so please welcome back Rogers Heritage High School's Mariachi Aguilas de Guerra.
Gracias.
mariachi loco, quiere bailar el mariachi loco.
Te quiero, lo digo un lamento, como un quejido que el viento se lleva por donde quiera. Te quiero, qué pena haberte perdido, como quien pierde una estrella que se eleva infinito. Ay, ay, quiero que se oiga mi llanto, como me dolió perderte, después que quererte tanto. Ay, después que quererla tanto, Diosito, dame consuelo para sacarme de adentro esto que me está matando. Ay, 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 ay. quiero, lo digo como un lamento, como un quejido que el viento se lleva por donde quiera. Te quiero, qué pena haberte perdido, como que un quejido que el viento que se lava al infinito. Ay, ay, quiero que se oiga mi llanto, como me dolió perderte, desde que quererte tanto. Ay, después que quererla tanto, Diosito dame consuelo para sacarme de adentro esto que me está matando. Ay, 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 ay. Te quiero.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We are your local mariachi. Mariachi, Águilas de Guerra. Thank you so much.
All right, welcome back. I hope everybody's enjoying your meal. Please feel free to keep eating as we continue with this afternoon's program.
It really is exciting to be back in person. I got to be here back in person last year, so pleased to be here again. The pandemic has been difficult on everyone, but it really has impacted the Hispanic community. We are a resilient community, though, and we're so grateful to all of the people and organizations who've worked to help keep Latinos in Arkansas safe and healthy. With everything that we've been through the last couple of years, it felt appropriate to call this year's conference Imagining the Future, Anything is Possible. We're so glad you're here with us today as we look forward and imagine the future together.
An event like today could not happen without a lot of work and support from a lot of people. All those unseen heroes working behind the scenes. Also, we'd like to take a few minutes to thank our sponsors for their support of this year's conference. And one of the aspects of HWOA's work has been the promotion of higher education. At this time, we'd like to invite Tania Castellanos, HWOA board member, to the stage.
Hello, everyone, and thank you guys all for coming and joining. First, I'd like to say that, thank you. I am speaking on behalf of Tyson Foods. I am a supply planner, so in the production supply chain world of Tyson Foods. And on top of that, I am also a co-chair of the Latinx BRG. Within the Latinx BRG and Tyson, we partner a lot in order to sponsor as well as partner up with nonprofit organizations here in our local area. Since the beginning of HWOA in 1999, Tyson has always been a sponsor and has always really appreciated all the hard work, the passion, and the initiatives of the organization. Tyson values a lot high school education as well as higher education in order to be able to provide opportunities for families from Latino backgrounds, especially when you look at our plant force, but also all sorts of areas. If anybody's interested, we really like to focus on all sorts of empowerment, but Hispanic women empowerment, empowerment within supply chain as well as technology. So I just welcome everybody to look at your pamphlets, read through some of the descriptions in there, but as well continue to support HWOA. And now for the next segment. Since its inception in 1999, the Hispanic Women Organization of Arkansas has made it a priority to promote higher education beyond high school among the immigrant and Latino community. The HWOA scholarship was established in the year 2000 as a way to encourage more Latino students to continue their education beyond high school. This labor of love has transformed the lives of hundreds of Latino families all across Arkansas. Knowledge is power, and education is forever. And something that I continue to stand by to this day is education goes wherever the educated person goes. It improves the quality of life and creates a ripple effect, impacting people beyond the imagination. The Hispanic Women of Arkansas Scholarship was created in response to a growing diversity in Northwest Arkansas, a phenomenon happening in the region back in that time. So far, HWOA has provided a little under 600 scholarships to Latino students across the state. Over 90% of the recipients have been the first in their families to attend an educational institution beyond high school. And today, as a showing of a small part of their appreciation and as a small sample of where the scholarship recipients are and how they are passing on the gift to others, the creation of the documentary that is going to play here in a few moments is a collaboration between the Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas and the Springdale Public School District. I would also now like to let you guys all know to please consider making a donation to the HWOA Scholarship Program by scanning the QR code that is found inside the conference booklet. It starts with you, it starts with the investment, and it starts with the support of everybody in this room. So with that, please enjoy the video.
In anything that you do in life, education is something that no one will be able to take from you.
At that time, and still today, it meant the world. I'm a first-generation college student, and I mean it meant the world because it gave validation of my hard work, and it was just a resounding validation to see an organization in the community see the potential in me and offer me essentially seeding my future, an opportunity to seed my future. And by way of that, I think other people, family, friends, also saw the potential in me to carry on an education.
The Hispanic Women's Organization gives hope to all those women. They give education, they give opportunities, scholarships, for example. They are helping the Latin American women grow their own power acknowledge who they are and appreciate themselves and what they can do for others, not just have that traditional role.
How do you see yourself in the future? What are the things that you need to do? What is the image that you need to create, not just for yourself, but your community? And just being here, their parents made a lot of sacrifices to be here, to give a better quality of life for their children. So it is their children's position to actually make those dreams true.
The knowledge, the networking that you encounter whenever you decide to take on your goal, educational goals, nobody, no matter what happens, nobody can ever take that from you. And so that is vital, and that's a key factor in creating your personal goals and going after them. Yes, it's not going to be easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but it's doable. You just have to set your mind, connect with those people that are willing to help you grow, and learn from them. And that is the best advice that I think I could give to any student that is facing any barrier. You can do it.
What the scholarship meant to me and how it changed my trajectory was basically saying that I am worth it, that someone is investing in me, even though it was not going to pay my entire semester. Without their support, I don't think I would have made it through college.
Our organization is not just one goal of achieving education. Our goal is to help the people and the families get integrated in the community.
For me, when I was 16 years old, I started to engage more in community, doing community volunteering work, but also civic engagement. And that's essentially where I found my voice as a formerly undocumented student. The movement and the support of organizations like Hispanic Women's Organization helped fuel my voice rather than cap it. They really helped foster it, and it gave me a sense of belonging, a sense of having a role to play in how to shape this community and also how to shape my future, more importantly.
I think the HWA understands the importance of education within the community it serves, because many times, from my personal experience, growing up, you can hear that education might not be for me. And while it's hard, it is possible to hear and dispel a lot of those myths that you might have been told all your life. HWA understands that everybody has the potential to realize their dreams. And if your dreams are to go to college, but you don't feel like you can, I think they're perfectly situated to help make sure that you can reach those dreams. And whether it's through the scholarship or a personal phone call that can help change your life, right, to tell you that you are everything that you want to be, you just have to realize it.
Education is important to me because I truly 100% to my core believe that knowledge is power. And I think that a lot of our Hispanic families or Latin American families come here and everything is not always accessible to them. There's not knowledge that they can easily access out there when it comes to governments or school or work. I mean, even just right now, everything's digital, so even just to like call in for work or fill out FMLA, it's all digital. Not only are our first generation families not probably super literate, but also not computer digitally strong. So if we can provide that support, if we can provide that knowledge for our families, our communities, we can help them build a better life. We can help them not only build a better life, but also feel like they belong here and they're accepted here and we want them here.
Frida Kahlo once said, pies para que los quiero si tengo alas. And I just think about how we seed ourselves, you know, how we plant ourselves in different places and we get a chance to bloom.
Believe in yourself, go after it, and never forget, nobody can take education from you.
I don't think there's any doubt that the Hispanic Women's Organization is going to continue to grow and hopefully thrive and be able to continue supporting the business community and education and all other aspects of our life in Northwest Arkansas. Diversity is going to continue to grow, which I think is great for all of us. And I know the Hispanic Women's Organization is going to continue to contribute to that.
The scholarship program, I think, has plenty of other resources and people to talk to. I've talked to a few scholarship recipients about, you know, what they're experiencing in college or thinking about college or maybe a pathway to a job. And that's building a beautiful community within the scholarship program.
The Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas first started in 1999, and our mission is to advance educational opportunities for Hispanic women and their families, to celebrate and teach others about our cultures, and to become active participants in the community. Our main goal is the celebration of education, culture, and community.
A great video. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about this organization. As Tanya mentioned earlier, it is a nonprofit and they do accept donations. If you would like to donate right now, you can do so at their website, hwoa.org. Nonprofits also rely on the generosity of sponsors, so we want to take a moment to thank all of the sponsors who helped out with today's event. Thank you to Tyson and Walmart, League of Women Voters, 3W Magazine, Engage Northwest Arkansas, Coca-Cola, Mercy, Community Clinic, Listerine, State Farm, Simmons Bank, Arvis Bank, Northwest Arkansas Naturals, and Cargill. Round of applause for everybody. It takes a lot of people. And so now I'm going to welcome HWOA board member Emily Linares to come forward to introduce our keynote speaker. Nizeli Silva currently serves as the Acting Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at the U.S. Department of Labor. Before joining the U.S. DOL, she was a senior policy analyst in the White House Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, where she helped with outreach and engagement for state, local, tribal, and territory officials. Prior to joining the Biden-Harris administration, Nizeli served as a special assistant on the Biden-Harris transition team, helping lead outreach for the Latino and immigration policy portfolio. Previously, she was the former research manager at FWD.US, a bipartisan organization working to advance immigration and criminal justice reform. Nizeli also served as a Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute intern for Congressman Adriano Espaillat. Before moving to Washington, D.C., Nizeli worked as a BIA accredited representative for Catholic Charities of Arkansas. She graduated magna cum laude from the University of Arkansas, where she earned a bachelor's degree in social work and bachelor's in Latin American studies.
Nazeli graduated from Springdale High School and has still close ties to Northwest Arkansas. In fact, both of her parents are in attendance today. Nazeli.
Hi, good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Thank you so much for the introduction, Emily. This is really wonderful. It feels so wonderful to be back in Springdale here at the Jones Center, a place where I have so many memories growing up, going swimming, to ice skating, hanging out here at the gym. It just feels really special to be coming home. I wanted to give a special thanks to Margarita for her invitation, and thanks to the entire staff, the workers, the volunteers, the sponsors, everyone who has made this event possible. And thank you all to the attendees who have come out to support the Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas. Please join me in giving them another round of applause. Thank you all for everything that you do for the Northwest Arkansas community. My name is Neslie Silva, and I'm currently serving as the Acting Director of Intergovernmental Affairs at the U.S. Department of Labor, which means that I'm the liaison for state, local, tribal, territory elected officials for the agency. I basically serve as the front door for these leaders when they have any questions about issues that impact workers and help them navigate the federal government. But today, I'm here speaking to you as a proud first-generation Latina, a graduate from the University of Arkansas, a proud Springdale High School Bulldog, and as the daughter of Tomas and Alejandra. Truthfully, I'm having a little bit of a deja vu moment being up here because in 2015, I sat in one of these very seats, attended this conference. At the time, I was working at the community clinic part-time on community outreach. Shout out to Chris White. And I was still a full-time student at the University of Arkansas pursuing my degree in social work. The keynote speaker that year was a woman named Felicia Escobar, who at the time, she was the senior advisor on immigration policy for President Barack Obama. And I remember thinking, wow, how cool is it that somebody came all the way down from Washington, D.C. to Springdale to share what the White House is doing to improve the lives of Latinos across the U.S. It's a little funny now looking back to reflect on these small signs that the universe sends you. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that somebody from my actual hometown would end up working there, much less did I ever think it would be myself. And Felicia and I are now colleagues working at different agencies for the federal government, and I was actually able to share this anecdote with her a few weeks ago when I saw her and I told her I was coming home to share more about my story. When I think about the conference theme, imagining the future, anything is possible, and how it relates to my story, I mainly think about the lessons I've learned along the way. There are three key takeaways I want to share, and they are ensuring you're finding your people, the cure to imposter syndrome is to embrace your uniqueness, and to make sure that we lift as we climb. To start, one thing I've learned is that you must do what you can to find your people and your community. It truly took a village for me to end up where I am, and it was a combination of so much support in ways that you can imagine. My parents, of course, sacrificed so much to move to this country from Mexico, and provided me with a stable life here in Northwest Arkansas. They are essential workers working in food manufacturing, and they didn't have the option to work from home during the pandemic. While I was in college, I joined a Latina sorority, the Hermandad de Sigma Iota Alpha Incorporada, and that was the first time I was surrounded by accomplished professional Latinas, who I was able to see myself in them, and made friendships and connections that I still tap into to this day. And of course, you need to have your mentors. But there is a key distinction I want to make. You have your mentors and you have your sponsors. The difference between a mentor and a sponsor is that mentors are there to give you advice or coaching when you're at a crossroads, and they help you figure out your next steps and someone to do a gut check with. A sponsor mentions your name in rooms where the decisions are being made. For example, they flag your resume for certain opportunities, they're willing to vouch for you in certain professional settings. If you're lucky, they're one and the same person. If there's someone out there that you admire, don't be afraid to reach out and find some time to get to know them. Ask them to be your mentor. I had a professor at the U of A, Dr. Javier Medina, who was both for me. A fellow student reached out to me and told me about the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute, which is a nonprofit creating a pipeline for Latino leaders in public service through their Congressional Internship and Fellowship Program. Now, this was the first time I started to think about a potential future in Washington, D.C. I remember applying for their internship program, and Dr. Medina wrote me a glowing recommendation. A few months pass by, I get an email. I quickly step out of class. I open it. "We regret to inform you." Instantly, my heart was shattered. I thought, well, that's the end of that dream. I knew it was too much of a stretch. So I went back to my prof's office hours, and I remember telling him how sad I was. And he told me, "So what if you didn't get in? Why don't you apply again? No pasa nada. There is no harm in trying. I'll write you your recommendation again." And sure enough, I applied again for that next semester. I closed my computer, I filed it away thinking it was gonna be another throwaway. A few months go by again and I get a call from the DC area code. Confused, I answer the phone and it's CHCI offering me a position for a paid internship in Congress. I swear, in that moment, I feel like I blacked out. I remember saying, yes, of course, I accept, and profusely thanking them for the opportunity. And little did I know that after that, my life was going to change. And honestly, I wouldn't have applied again if it wasn't for Dr. Medina. And I'm thankful for him and for all the people in my village, especially my parents, who have helped me get there. Next, I want to talk about the importance of embracing the uniqueness of your story. And that's the antidote to imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is that feeling of self-doubt when one finds themselves in situations out of your comfort, mostly in professional or academic settings. It's when you've internalized that you're undeserving or you don't belong in a particular space. And boy, was I afflicted by this when I first got to DC. During the pandemic and after the 2020 election, I had the opportunity to join the presidential transition team. The role of the transition was to lay the groundwork for the incoming administration and his staff. I worked on convening listening sessions from immigration rights groups and Latino advocacy groups to get their policy recommendations for the Biden administration. I had been working on immigration rights advocacy for a number of years at that point. I came from a direct services perspective here during my work in Northwest Arkansas, so I felt very familiar and comfortable with all the players. I knew everyone, I knew all the policies. So when I got a job offer to work at the White House, engaging with state, local, tribal, and territory elected officials, I started to get that creeping feeling again of imposter syndrome. While it was an incredible opportunity, it was unfamiliar, uncharted territory at the time. Several of my colleagues came from prestigious backgrounds, attended Ivy League schools, or had long-established Delaware connections, or even family members who had worked for prior presidents. And here I was, I thought, a girl from Springdale, proud to call the hogs on the spot, and not only the first in my family to go to college, but also work in the federal government. To be honest, it was an uncomfortable feeling at first walking the halls of the West Wing and try to navigate the dynamics of the building. But it was a very quick learning curve because we had no time to waste at the start of the administration. We had the dire need to get COVID vaccines out to communities, schools and businesses back open, and the economy back on track. Little by little, I began to think, well, I'm at the exact place as my colleagues. Why should I feel like I belong just as much as they do? I started to see the strength in my background because there was no one in that building who had the same history or experience as me. And I began to gain more confidence. And I really feel like I hit my stride when I got to work on one of my favorite events there during my time, which was President Biden's first and only naturalization ceremony that he hosted at the White House. It felt like all of my worlds were colliding. I felt immense honor, being myself a daughter of immigrants, to be there facilitating and opening this space for the 21 new Americans who were taking the solemn oath. Attendees were able to bring their families to the White House, and we also invited leaders of the national immigrant rights movement, many of whom I had worked with prior to joining government. There was so much joy in the East Room, and the energy was just unforgettable. At the ceremony, the president gave a special honor to Sandra Lindsay, who was the first person to receive the COVID vaccine in the US. She was a frontline nurse from Jamaica who recently also got her citizenship, and that day my job was to make sure that she felt welcomed, take her to all her press interviews, show her around campus, and to meet with the president. I remember calling my mom at the end of the day, buzzing about the magic. And it was one of those days where I couldn't believe that was my life, and I wanted to pinch myself. Afterwards, she told me she felt inspired to finally take that next step herself. And sure enough, she began studying really hard for her exam. I'm now proud to share that a few months ago, my mom was able to attend her own naturalization ceremony and obtained her citizenship. Now, when I feel that imposter syndrome start to creep in again, I reassure myself, and I lean into the uniqueness of my story. Like an antidote, it fades away. I remind myself, I am deserving. Now, the last thing I want to leave y'all with is a call to action, because I wouldn't be a proper organizer or a proper public servant if I didn't have an ask. I want to inspire you all that as you go through your journeys in this professional or academic settings, is to remember to lift as we climb. For far too long, sometimes many communities of color are afflicted with this scarcity mindset, that there's only room for one person, or only one token at the table. And I wholeheartedly push back on that, because if one of us succeeds, we all succeed. And I'm pulling up a chair to the table for my friend too. I want you to think about this the next time someone reaches out to you for coffee, or if you want to reach out to someone, or to have an interview, or to meet and learn more about each other's work. And if you're asked, always say yes to the coffee, because you never know what connections may end up reappearing in your journey, kind of like Felicia and myself. We must ensure we're paving a path for the next generation, and there are moments when it's time to step aside and let new voices and new energy rise to the occasion. So if I can leave you all with some parting words, being the first to do something in your family can feel very difficult and comes with its own challenges. But once you do it, it means you won't be the last. Whatever journey you decide to take in your careers as you navigate these various institutions, remember to lean on your roots and into your community or your people. Remember that if you find yourself with self-doubt or feelings of imposter syndrome, the cure is to embrace the uniqueness of your story. And lastly, I feel like this is something I tell myself all the time because I'm running 1,000 miles per hour, is to lean into the moments of magic. Take a breath, stay present, and before you know it, you may be shattering your own glass ceilings and making an impact. Thank you so much for having me today and share a little bit about my story. And then I think after this, I'll have invite Dr. Cleveland up here. We're going to do a few quick Q&A. So. Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Can you hear me? You did a great job.
Thank you.
Anybody think she did a great job? Absolutely. What an inspiration. Before we have a little conversation, the students that are in this room, would you just raise your hand? I don't care what school district you're from. You are amazing. And if you're not inspired today, then nothing's going to inspire you. I got to tell you, the first time I met her was on the White House grounds, right out in front. And she was such an amazing young lady, and I was so thrilled that the mayor and I were standing there together with some others from our area, from our chamber, knowing that you were a Springdale Bulldog, knowing that Kevin Flores was your friend and my friend and all. I realized right then what an awesome story, what an awesome example of the power not only you had, but of the power of this community. Springdale community is so special to me. Although I was not born and raised here, Springdale has opened your doors and your lives for me and folded me into your family. The mayor and I and all of the other people in the community, you've welcomed me. So thank you for allowing me to be part of your family.
Thank you. I feel like it was the Springdale way. I remember when Kevin reached out to me and he said that he was leading a group and had the Chamber of Commerce and the mayor in town. And I said, of course, no questions asked. I moved all my mountains, cleared my schedules, and I just wanted to make you all feel welcome because that was my favorite part about working at the White House, was being able to open that space for people and make them really feel welcome, that was their house. And if I could have that little piece of Springdale there, I was so happy. That was probably one of the highlights, honestly, that day.
Well, I can probably speak for the mayor. It was a highlight for us, wasn't it, Mayor? Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you are definitely an inspiration. And so everything that I look through as far as a lens is that every student that comes through a door in Springdale Public Schools is not only welcomed but cherished. And our hope and our focus is hopefully as children, as Miss Margarita and I have discussed before, as they matriculate through the system, they want to return to become teachers. And there are all kinds of opportunities today to become a teacher even for free. And thankfully, the Hispanic Women's Organization provides scholarships. The University of Arkansas, NWAC, and others are providing awesome scholarships for all. And I would encourage you that in your time of when you want to move back home, if you ever do, you would be an awesome teacher, right? And we can make that happen, right? When you get ready.
Yeah.
If you're not president or congressman or senator.
Thank you. No, I totally agree with that. Teachers are so important for communities, and right now there's a lot of resources to get more teachers out there, especially after the pandemic. At least with my Department of Labor hat on, I know there's a push for non-traditional apprenticeships, for example, teacher apprenticeships that are that direct pathway that have that guaranteed paid opportunity at the end and that training built into it. So definitely a resource I would encourage folks to reach out to.
Well, we know how to reach out to you,
yes.
don't we? Well, it's been a fantastic journey. I know we don't have much time, Ms. Margarita. I'll try to be brief. But those of you that are students, I really do encourage you to become teachers and come back and serve our community, because our students who are in our schools need to be able to see people who look like them too. And so it's very important to know that as you work through your system of a district who serves you, that you serve in the future, and you're going to be welcome with open arms. And it's very important. In fact, it's vital that our students have wonderful representatives and really, I don't want to say idols, but at least people they look up to want to be like. And quite frankly, when I grow up, I'd really like to be like you. You've already lived and done some things that I'm just I wish I could sit down and talk to you for a few hours.
Let's do it.
The things that aren't classified, I'm sure you know things you're not supposed to tell, but I would love to hear those stories anyway.
Yeah.
So, what kind of stories can you tell us?
What kind of stories?
What's an inside story from the White House that you can tell us that that would be interesting to all?
I'd say probably there was some times, truthfully, when we were navigating a lot of periods of uncertainty. COVID was a really hard time for everyone. Every community was afflicted. And it was just seen at the federal level, just being in that building and try to do what we can to help people and get resources out as soon as possible was really challenging. And on top of that, working with and trying to manage a lot of disasters that were happening in 2020. I remember there was a lot of big storms happening, and part of my work there being the main coordinator for state and local elected officials is we were always the first to make that contact whenever a community was hit by a flood or a tornado or a hurricane or even a mass shooting. And I just remember always facilitating that for my boss and my team and being that point of contact, and they were always so grateful for the outreach. And then after that, if the president wanted to reach out himself, then we would facilitate that as well. So there was a time, I will never forget this because it was probably one of the most challenging times of my day there, but there was a building that collapsed in Miami-Dade, Florida. I don't know if you all remember, but it was a condominium, and it was probably one of the biggest, disasters that had happened, and I had never seen anything like it. The day before, the mayor of Miami-Dade County was actually in the building taking meetings with the president. And I remember walking into work that day, and it was like one of those movies where you see like the CNN clips, the banners, all of a sudden it's just like smoke and rubble and chaos. And right away, the president wanted to call that mayor and make sure that if she needed anything, and we were able to facilitate that, and she was just so grateful for the outreach. Maybe a week or two later, the president actually traveled to Miami-Dade County to visit and meet with FEMA and just meet with the family members who were afflicted and because of this tragedy that had happened. And I got to the point where I was directly working one-to-one with some family members who had lost loved ones in that building and just helped them try to navigate resources from the federal government. And so When I think of that time, it's just trying to be a steady voice and provide calm and resources to people when they're in their most need. It's something that I'll be always forever etched in my heart. But yeah, that was probably one of the main stories I wanted to share too.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always been interested to know what happens behind those doors.
Yeah.
So thanks for.
There's a whole lot of people. It just activates, and we all just start moving towards that direction and that crisis response. And you know, there's no disaster that's, you know, it's equal. It doesn't impact Republican districts or Democrat districts. It impacts everyone, and the community comes together to help each other in the end.
So you would consider yourself, I don't know if that's on or not. So you would have considered yourself behind the scenes, a lot of work?
Yes.
There are all kinds of people who serve in different roles behind the scenes, and yet those roles are extremely important, like communications. I know our communications team is back there. Wave your hands. They're wonderful people. And not only do they speak English and Spanish, and they also do TV and Marshallese and everything else. And so there are all kinds of aspects to public service. Just like our students today from HAR-BER and Rogers and others, they're doing public service that they can use as their service hours, community service. But when you're in the White House, it becomes, I think the battery's gone dead. That may be Miss Margarita telling me I need to be quiet. It'll be my last question. But when you're in the White House, that public service carries a lot of weight, doesn't it? So I appreciate your story. It's okay.
Thank you so much.
We'll share that microphone.
Yeah, we can share it.
I just want to tell you how grateful I am for having met you, and I look forward to seeing your life blossom and bloom, and you be a great example for all of these young people in this room, and quite frankly, you're an example for all of us that are a little older than you too. So thank you for this opportunity, Ms. Margarita, and thank you, Hispanic Women's Organization of Arkansas, and thank you so much for your leadership.
Thank you, Dr. Cleveland. Yeah.
Okay, who's next? Okay, we'll turn it back over.
I'd like to invite Rafael Arcega up to the stage, please. Arcega Garcia, sorry.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and just like everybody else mentioned before, and having Nestle here with us, coming back, as you mentioned, coming back home. It's been a wonderful day. It's been a wonderful morning, evening. We had a great program, and so we just want to once again thank Nestle for being here with us and for bringing this amazing program, just basically putting the ribbon on top of it, right? And so thank you so much for being with us, for being with your family, colleagues, and for also not forgetting about your roots and where you're coming from. So thank you so much. And on behalf of the University of Arkansas, thank you for your continued support. Don't forget, please, if you have the chance, look at the booklet, scan that QR code and donate, because with your support, we can continue doing more wonderful things. Nestle, thank you again.
All right, it's been a good conference so far, but not over yet. We've got one more session, starts at 2. It's our last session of the day. We'll hear what the youth think about artificial intelligence and how AI will impact their future, so please stick around for that.
And before we conclude this program, we want to make sure we thank all the people who work behind the scenes for months to make this day possible. Thank you to all the board members, staff members, and volunteers. Thank you, DJ Flex, for running our sound system today. And of course, thank you to Executive Director Margarita Solorzano.
A round of applause for everybody. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Antoinette Grajeda.
And I'm Jorge Vega.
Take care and enjoy the rest of your Friday.
Thank you.
Yes, we belong together for eternity. You're mine, your lips belong to me. Yes, they belong to only me. For eternity, you're mine, my baby, and you'll always be. I swear by everything I own, you'll always be mine. You're mine, and we belong together. Yes, we belong together for eternity. Eternity. Te quiero así, deliciosa, insospechada.